Hello guys, welcome to Perceptive Mindset, and today in this video we are just going to have a quick discussion. We're just going to talk about migration and what it means to migrate. So we are going to of course look at migrating to Canada, and of course this can be applied to any country that you are planning on migrating to. Now, it does require some planning if your ultimate goal is for you to achieve permanent residence and then perhaps citizenship. There are some things that you need to be mindful of. Or some persons, knowing that they are planning to migrate, they are on a high. All of a sudden, the supervisor can't talk to you anymore. And of course, that is the time when I would say, be your nicest and tolerate everybody, even if your boss may be somebody that you just can't stand. The fact that you know that you have a plan to leave, you may want to make sure that despite all of that, you are on your best behavior, because best believe you are going to require their help. You will need some employment reference and verification, and so you don't want to leave your work and you left in a hostile manner wherein which when you want something, they can literally sabotage that process for you. And so we're going to look at migrating and how you can prepare, because it does require careful planning, preparation, and of course an understanding of the process. And we're going to look at some valuable tips and insights into how you can make that transition. So tip number 1 is to build and maintain strong employer relationships. And I spoke about that just moments ago. Now, why does that matter? Well, when you're applying for PR, you'll need a detailed employment verification letter from your current and past employers. This document will verify your job, the title that you held, the duties, salary, and duration of employment, which is crucial for demonstrating your work experience. And I said crucial because when you're applying for PR, there are different points that are allotted, and that helps to make up your score in the ranking pool. And so if you claim that you have work experience outside of, and we're looking at Canada, then you will have to substantiate all of that by providing your employment reference letter to show in fact that you held a paid job and for the duration that you said. So you must always try to maintain a professional and respectful relationship with your employers. I know some persons will probably not want your employer in your business to know that you're leaving. However, whenever you are going to resign and you give that notice, try to make sure that as best as possible, you be professional about it, be respectful about it. Inform your employer early about your need for the letter to give them sufficient time to prepare it. Ensure also that the letter includes specific details such as job responsibilities, start and end dates, hours worked per week, and the contact information. All that detailed information is important based on Canadian standard, because they are going to want to know that in fact you worked where you said you worked for however long and that you were paid for that job. And they also want to see that it's work that you have worked for at least 30 hours per week. Now, if you are self-employed, you need to keep invoices, contracts, and the client references as proof of work. Tip number 2 is understand how to obtain a police certificate. And why that matters? Well, police certificates are required to prove that you have no criminal record in any country that you have lived in for more than 6 months since the age of 18. That is absolutely a requirement, and so you need to make sure that you know the process in obtaining that. So once you have lived in any country for more than 6 months, you will have to provide a police clearance certificate. for the purposes of permanent residence. So you need to research the process for obtaining police certificates in all the relevant countries. Each country has its own procedures. They have their own timelines and requirements. Start the application process early, as it may take several weeks or even months to receive the certificates. Of course, your research would have assisted you with knowing how long. For example, if you are from Jamaica, let's just use Jamaica as an example, then you know that a police certificate you can apply and pay for the 5-day service or the 21 days. And that's just an example. When you do your research, then you will have an idea as to the processing time. But if you're in Canada, then that's not a big deal. To get that, we're talking about mainly your country where you have migrated to Canada from. Make sure that, and other countries that you have lived in for more than 6 months. Tip number 3, leverage the provincial nominee program. And for example, looking at, say, Manitoba or any other provinces that have a nomination program. And I'm particularly looking at the MPNP because that's the one that I'm familiar with. And why it's important is it's just a great pathway to PR through the MPNP or any other provincial nominee program because it allows the province to nominate individuals who meet its labor market needs. A provincial nomination provides an additional 600 points in your Express Entry profile, and I can tell you Express Entry can be very competitive. If you look at the score, the latest scores for the month of November, you will see the minimum ranking score quite high. So if you are a provincial nominee with that added 600 points, then you're almost guaranteed because it does significantly boost your chances of receiving an invitation to apply for PR. So it's a great pathway if you go through the provincial nominee program. You have to know the province that you are intent on going. Particularly for the province of Manitoba, you can build strong ties such as through your employment, study or family connections, or even friends, as these will strengthen your MPNP application. Ensure your expression of interest profile is complete and accurate, as this determines your eligibility for a letter of advice to apply, which is LEA. If you're employed in Manitoba, keep copies of your job offer letter, your pay stubs, and employer references, as these may be needed for both the provincial nominee program and your PR application. Tip number 4, having to do with your settlement funds and why it matters. Well, you must demonstrate sufficient funds to support yourself and your family when you arrive in any province. This is a requirement for most immigration streams. So tip, maintain a bank account with the required amount for the settlement proof. Check the current requirements on IRCC website to see what the latest amount is that you will need for yourself if it's just a single applicant, as well as the amount that you will need for your family. Avoid large deposits close to the time of your application, as this may raise questions about the origin of funds. Keep a record of bank statements and financial transactions to show consistent fund availability, and that's important. If you get a lump sum of fund and you dump that in your account, then that can raise suspicion that the funds may not be yours and it may not be available or accessible to you, so you have to make sure that you don't do any dumping. Tip number 5, improve language proficiency. Well, why it matters. High scores in language tests like the IELTS, that's the IELTS, English, or the TEF, which is the TEF for French, are crucial for meeting eligibility requirements and boosting your comprehensive ranking system score in Express Entry. Prepare for your language test by taking courses or using online resources. Practice speaking, writing, reading, and listening. So for persons who are already in Canada, you can opt to do the SALPIP test. You can take the test early so you can include the results in your MPNP as well as your PR applications. Mind you, these tests will expire off after 2 years, and so if you have not gone through your PR process by then, you want to make sure that you keep your English proficiency test up to date. If you're bilingual, that's English and French, then you can also claim additional points. Tip number 6, research Manitoba's job market. And for those who are looking for job in other provinces, if you're looking to settle in other provinces, it's always good to research the job market. Employment plays a crucial role in settling in any province, in particular Manitoba, and strengthening your immigration application. So focus on in-demand occupations listed in Manitoba's labor market outlook. Tailor your resume to the Canadian format, highlighting skills relevant to your field. Use resources like Workforce Manitoba, Job Bank Canada, or Manitoba Start to find opportunities and build your network. Tip number 7 is to understand PR application requirements and deadlines. Completing your PR application accurately and on time is essential for approval. Missing deadlines or submitting incorrect information can lead to delays or refusals. So use the IRCC online portal to track deadlines and updates. Double-check all forms and documents for accuracy and consistency before submission. Keep digital and physical copies of all submitted documents for your records. Network and seek support, and that's tip number 8. Networking helps with employment, community integration, and building relationships that can support your migration journey. So you can attend workshops and events hosted by Manitoba Start, New Journey Housing, or even the Immigrant Center Manitoba. If you're looking to settle in the province of Manitoba, you'll have to do research to find out what resources and tools are available in other provinces, and you can join social groups or new associations to connect with others who have already navigated the same path. Tip number 9, make sure to stay organized and prepared. Immigration is a long process with multiple steps. Staying organized can prevent unnecessary stress and missed opportunities. So keep a checklist of all documents required for each stage. For example, work references, police certificates, proof of funds. Use a folder system, if you will, digital or physical, to store your documents in one place. Stay updated on immigration rules as they change over time. And as you can see, if you have been following immigration news recently, there has been a number of changes. Be patient and persistent, and that's tip number 10. Immigration can be a lengthy and challenging process, but persistence is key to achieving PR. Celebrate small milestones along the way to stay motivated. Reach out for help from professionals or mentors if you face difficulties. If you are uncertain about something, make sure to consult. Remember, each step brings you closer to your goal of becoming a permanent resident in Canada. And I'll just leave you with this final thought. Migrating to Canada or any other country and settling is an incredible opportunity, but it requires preparation. It requires you to be determined. And by staying organized, building strong relationships, following these tips, you can make your journey to PR much smoother. And I just want to reiterate that if you are planning on migrating, please make sure that your place of employment, if you are already employed in your country, you make sure to leave on the best term professionally that you can, because you will absolutely need their help in giving you that employment reference letter, especially according to the stipulation of IRCC. It's not going to be vague. You want them to spell out your job functions because Canada deals with NOC code. So any job that you perform can be found under one of the NOC codes identified, and so you want your employer to work with you to make sure that you don't get a mediocre employment reference letter, and that can only be achieved by making sure that you have maintained a good relationship with your employer so that you can have the dialogue with them, show them reason without them sabotaging pretty much your process, because we're all humans and people can be vindictive. People will not forget that you have treated them a particular way, even without even acknowledging that it was just you reciprocating. They treated you a particular way and you were rendering the favor. That becomes irrelevant, and so it's important to make sure that you maintain a professional working relationship when you're leaving. Hint your employer that you will need that employment reference letter, so when the time comes, you have a reference point and you can get your letter. So I hope that these tips can help you. Please like the video, share it with someone.